The brightness of this day has given me the opportunity to bring you this video. Welcome back to my channel, Winging It with Essie. My name is Essie. Today I'm going to be talking about weaning. So starting baby on solids. This is a video that has been a long time coming. I promised a number of people that I would make this video and it's been months, but finally we are here now. So like you already know on this channel, it's just me sharing what I did for my son. So it's not based on expert advice or anything. So how did I move serum from introduce solids to serum? Now before I start, let me just say that especially for mothers who are exclusively breastfeeding, there's a tendency to really look forward to that stage where you're going to transition baby to solids. And somehow in your mind you kind of think that you will be done, like once you start them on solids, like the breastfeeding with jai. But that's not the case. You will still be really actively breastfeeding, let's say for nutritional purposes, at least till they are 9-10 months, because what doctors say is that for until they are age 1, all the solids that you are feeding them is not quite for nutritional purpose as it is introducing them to solids and letting them get a feel of different tastes and textures and flavors and stuff like that. So anyway, when serum was like a week to turning exactly 6 months, I decided to start him on solids because he was more than ready. So the first thing I started him on was banana. So I bought some bananas and then I just bought one and then I mashed it. And then I made it a very runny consistency because they are used to like very runny consistency like milk. So that's how you need to start it out, to make it very light. So I mashed it in a bowl and then I added some breast milk and then I fed it to him. So basically what I did when it came to introducing solids to him was I started with fruits. I didn't start with like porridge or anything. I started with fruits. So I started with banana and then I did that for 3 days. Then I moved to avocado. Then I did that for 3 days. Then I moved to pawpaw, did that for 3 days. Moved to mango, did that for 3 days. And I think it was after that. And then I did apples for 3 days. I did pear, like the pear fruit, for 3 days. So the reason why you do things for 3 days is to make sure that like that's the only thing that you're feeding them, or the only new thing that you're feeding them for 3 days. It's just to ensure that they don't have any allergies or they don't react to it badly. So if you introduce something and you realize that maybe they have a skin rash or they are throwing up or something, then you know that that's what they're reacting to, and then you give it a pause. One thing I'll say is that if you give the baby something and they tend to reject it, don't assume that they don't like it and that you're never going to introduce it. You can wait for like 3-4 weeks and then try it again. So I think when it came to mashed kinky, that's what happened with serum. I tried it once and he didn't like it, but I think that particular kinky wasn't so nice. And then I think like 3 weeks later I tried it again and he loved it. So if you introduce something to your baby and they don't take it or they don't particularly like it, don't force it down their throats. A few weeks later, try it again. If they don't take it, a few weeks later, try it again. Keep trying until you realize that really this one, they don't like it. So after I finished with the fruits, then I moved to, I think, the vegetables. So like carrots, sweet corn, peas, and all of these things. I have a video from early on in my channel where I showed how I make the fruit purees. So I'll leave the link in the description box. So I was pureeing potatoes, so Irish potatoes, sweet potatoes, sweet corn, carrots, peas, chicken, beef. So when I finished with the fruits, then I moved to the vegetables and stuff. Now when you do one fruit or a second fruit, you can mix the two, then you start mixing the two. So one of the combinations I loved and Serum loved was avocado and banana. And because the avocado has some fats in it too, so it keeps them a little fuller for longer. And then once you realize that, okay, they're okay with pawpaw, they're okay with banana, they're okay with mango, they're okay with this, that, then you can start to combine them. So you can do like mango and, I don't know, banana, like, you know, give them those combinations. It was when I was done with these that I started giving, so I think it was about 7 months before I started giving him Tom Brown, condo porridge. That's what I did anyways. So in starting the solids, like what the measurements I was using was like before he started solids, or when I was exclusively breastfeeding, every time I was leaving to work, I was leaving 4 bottles of milk for him. So what happened was that when I started him on the solids, one, let's say the mashed banana, one of that would replace 1 bottle of milk. So that's what started happening. Not immediately though. When I come home, I would introduce the banana or whatever it is to him and then top up with milk. I think he was about 6.5 months, going on 7 months, that when we introduced the porridge, like Tom Brown and such, then one of that would replace like 1 bottle of milk. Then I think 2 weeks down the line, something else would replace another bottle of milk. But the milk is still very important because, I mean, I was giving him milk each time he woke up. When I come home from work, I breastfeed him. At that time, he was still waking up in the night to breastfeed, so he was still getting his milk. It's just that gradually we were dropping the milk feeds until he turned about, I think by the time he turned about 10 months, it had dropped down to I had to leave just 1 bottle of milk for him when I'm leaving for work, but he was still getting his milk like directly from me. So I hope I have been exhaustive with this. But with the purees, basically what I was doing is I'll make it in bulk. So I was pureeing the fruits and the potatoes and stuff with especially the fruits. I was using breast milk. So what I would do is that I'll use breast milk that I had just pumped to puree it, and then I'll freeze it, and then whenever I needed it, I'll take it out and then thaw it and then feed it to him. I think I spoke a bit about that in that puree video that I did. So if you're interested in that, please take a look at that video. I do have a few recipes planned, baby recipes like in poto and such. Eventually they will show up on this channel, but Charlie, recording recipe videos is something else. So some of the combinations I was making were, let's say, like potatoes. So I have the potatoes frozen in the cubes. I have chicken puree frozen in the cubes. I have sweet corn pureed and frozen in the cubes. So I'll just take, let's say, today I'll take potato, chicken, sweet corn, and then I'll take it the night before so that by the following day it's stored nicely in the fridge. Heat it up, mix it, give it to him. So that's what I was doing. So it was pretty simple. I was also supplementing, if I should say, with you know, the store-bought baby food. Something they come in very handy. So I was buying some of that, and then I was getting ideas from those to make some of the purees from them. I'll look on the jars and make some of those for him, and then I was making my own concoction. So maybe like potato with rice, chicken. I was mixing things and he was eating them nicely. So really though, that's what I was doing with him. Thankfully, he's not allergic to anything so far. So it's been so far so good. If you are now starting your weaning journey, one thing I would say is that someone told me that it's not necessary to buy a baby food blender if you want to blend their stuff. Just wash your blender with warm water and soap. My blender has a wash function, so I just pour warm water, add some liquid soap, put it on, and then let it run for like 15 seconds, wash it out, and then I start pureeing things. So honestly, I'm glad I saved my money on buying a baby blender because you won't use it for that long a time. So that's another reason why I never really bought a sterilizer, but that's just me. Everyone is different. So if you want to buy the baby blender, that's totally fine, but that's just my my piece of advice. I feel like this wasn't so as exhaustive as I thought it would be in my mind, but basically that's it. And then of course, when it comes to introducing solids, when you're eating and your baby wants some, give them some, because it's a way of introducing the family meals to the baby. And another thing that somebody taught me was that whatever you eat as a family, just make the same thing for baby and puree. It's just that, you know, before the age of 1, they advise that you don't give the baby salt. You don't add salt to their food when you're making it. So if you're sitting and you're eating wachi and the baby wants some, give some to the baby. If it's skincare you're eating, whatever you're eating, let them have some, so that they are getting used to what their family typically eats, so that it's not like their food is always different. And when you finally, like, let's say, you want to transfer them or move them to, like, transition them to the family meals, then it's like they are not used to it, or they don't really like it. So if it's sometimes we should puree everything the family ate. So if it is plantain, soft boiled plantain with ripe boiled plantain with contumely, she would make the contumely stew for the baby, boil the yam, puree the two together. And in pureeing, let's say if you boil potatoes and you want to puree it, don't throw the stock away, the stock that you used to boil the peas, or the peas and the sweet corn. I was steaming them, but I was using that water that I was used to steaming to puree it. So don't throw that water away, because some of the nutrients have seeped into it. So if you are boiling potatoes to puree it, the water you use to boil the potatoes is what you should use to puree it, if you don't want to use formula or breast milk. Okay, so just remember that fact as well. If you have any questions, or if you think I missed something, please write them down in the comment section, and I will try to answer them as best as I can. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.